What's up, everybody? Brett here, and I'm back today playing some more Total War Warhammer 2. I got a treat for you today. We did a small funds, super small funds game on Arnheim. That's the map. It's a pretty sweet high elf themed map, and it's going to be me as the Lizardman with my ally, the Vampire Coast player, and we're up against Wolf Minch as the Vampire Counts, and my buddy Triari as the Dawi. So pretty sweet builds to go over here, and my ally has Queen Bess. So first things first, we got to protect Queen Bess. She's got huge range, she does incredible damage, and he's got a nice protection group here just for Queen Bess, basically. We've got the zombie powered deckhand mobs with polearms, we've got the standard deckhand mobs, and their only purpose is to keep Queen Bess in the fight. I've got one skink cohort and two with javelins, just in case there was any aerial funny business. And I also have a Bastillodon with a Revivification Crystal, hard word to say, and that's going to be providing a lot of healing for us. I also have Mazdamundi, and we'll talk about him more in a second because he is an absolute monster this battle. Luther Harkin's going to be flying out here, and he's got a lot of his buffs and debuffs. The main thing about him is he's on the back of this Terrorgeist. It's going to make him an excellent duelist, and because he can shoot from the back of this thing, he's going to be able to pressure the Skyhammer quite well. He's hornswoggled it. Minus speed, it's going to allow him to sit and shoot. He's doing some decent damage to it as well. But the Skyhammer is a Regiment of Renown Dwarven bomber that drops these incredibly potent bombs, which will be very effective against our low-tier infantry if he's able to land those. And then Belagar Ironhammer, here to flip and settle some oaths. I almost said a bad word, guys. But he's also got his ancestor, Thorny Ironbrow, who is an ethereal runesmith, incredibly difficult to take down if you don't have magic damage, which is usually a distinct possibility if you're planning to play in a small funds battle. You can't always cover all of your bases, and he's got all of his runes, so incredible defensive buffs, but he also has here the Hammer of Karag Draz, which lowers melee attack and weapon damage of an enemy, and that's a huge debuff to melee attack. Incredibly powerful. And if you take all the buffs on Belagar Ironhammer, he becomes an extremely dangerous melee combatant as well. So he's very good at sniping out lords, which you wouldn't think of it to look at him because he's this tiny dwarf with a shield, right? But no, he's bad news if you are trying to stand and fight him, especially with the aid of a runesmith. So I came up with Mazdamundi, looking to try and perhaps get some spell casting done. But unfortunately, we got pushed back here. The Skyhammer is dropping its payload. This is definitely a bug. It's been in the game for a while now. The Skyhammer doesn't register kills that it gets with its bombs, and it's gotten a lot of kills. I was down to 119 skinks. I'm using the Revivification Crystal plus Apotheosis from Mazdamundi to try and heal them back up, and it does resurrect models. So I'm getting a lot of my skinks back. But the Skyhammer probably killed about 50 or so. Between the zombies and the skinks, and I'm turning my javelin throwers, and we're going to drive it off. And I think what Triari was trying to do was destroy the actual model of Queen Bess, which is something he said you can do pretty easily with Phoenix, and he thought it might have the same effect. Maybe it would have been more effective to, I don't know, sit and shoot and kite, but that certainly forced us all to respond. Meanwhile, the very slow-moving army of the Vampire Counts, which is being hit by Queen Bess currently, but Queen Bess is hitting zombies, and I'm sure the Vampire Counts player doesn't really care if his zombies die. He's got several, and he's looking to kind of take this hill position, fight in this choke point, and he's spreading out nicely. Definitely the sign of a veteran player. And the Terrorgeist breath went down there, got a few kills. 45 kills currently on Luther Harkin, but he's spreading out his army, making it so that one single shot of Queen Bess isn't going to be as devastating potentially as it could be. And his whole strat here, he's got Invocation of Nehek, he's got Raised Dead, and he's got Master of the Black Arts, which gives him huge recharge rate. And of course, being a vampire, he's going to also have the Hunger. So Manfred, even on a barded horse at 110 armor, is going to be a pretty decent combatant. And I'm going to rush in here and try to put a little bit of damage on Belagar, and I do manage to. And I'm going to land a pretty fat banish that's going to disrupt the advancement of our Vampire Counts enemy here. And we're going to be taking this, downhill position. We've got my javelins here, are going to be looking to skirmish a bit. I've got the crystal that I'm not really ready to commit here. Ruination of Cities went off, and that destroyed several skeleton warriors. Lord Mazdamundi, I have him stripped down pretty much. We've got Shield of the Old Ones for some nice AoE ward save, as well as a leadership buff. I also have his unique item here, the Sunburst Standard of Hexoatl. So just in case there was any sort of ranged problems, we could have withstood that with an extra bit of missile resistance, but it also gives him melee defense, which makes it much harder to take him out. And then of course, Banishment and Ruination of Cities are his free attacks. Queen Bess gets a devastating hit there, and Apotheosis on him to give me some healing. So sadly, my healing approach to this fight doesn't work all that well with an undead ally. I'm not able to use Apotheosis to heal him. So I'm using my Revivification Crystals to continuously resurrect and heal my Javelins and my Skinks. And whenever they go running, they're going to end up getting Cold Blood and coming right back. And a huge charge from Zlok here. Take a look at Mazdamundi just tearing through these zombies and these skeletons. Monstrous. And I was happy to commit my crystal, my Bastiladon, to this combat here because I saw that my opponent had held his Spearman in reserve. So there's no anti-large, there's no armor piercing on the field right now, other than Belegar and the Runesmith. And they're trying to chase down Lord Mazdamundi, but with his mass, I'm able to very easily kind of waddle through our forces and bring him to safety. So the Mighty Oathstone is popped. He's giving melee defense to everyone around. And Luther Harkin is trying his best to take out Belegar. He's using his Shield of the Old Ones. Well, that's me. He's taking advantage of the Shield of the Old Ones that I procced here. I think he had another item activated before I re-hovered over him. And we're all getting that ward save, and a beautiful Banishment down here is going to absolutely tear into, looks like 4 or 5 groups of enemies. It decimates my allies' zombie pirate deckhand mobs. That was kind of an unintended consequence. I cast it here, thinking it might go up, might go left to right, and instead it went down. But I think that was totally worth it. And another Ruination of Cities here, going off into this huge blob. And just like that, Mazdamundi is up to 420 YOLO. 420 kills. And my units are going to be continuously routing and coming back. But with a lot of support from Mazdamundi and the Bastiladon, we are going to be able to keep them topped off HP-wise and unit model-wise, and we're going to keep them in the fight. And every time Mazdamundi charges, he gets kills, guys. Granted, they are on zombies and skeletons, but this whole strategy from the Vampire Counts rather, is an incredibly powerful one. Spamming summons and a small funds mode, most armies can't deal with it. If I didn't have Mazdamundi with both Banishment and Ruination of Cities, if my ally did not have Queen Bess, who went up to 361 kills, we would not have had the AoE necessary to deal with this many units on the field. And he's just going to be able to continuously summon. Look here, he's got zombies coming, and they're going to attack me in the back, and my ally as well. And that's going to make it so that he's almost forcing a kind of a fear route from my units. But I'm going to hurry up and get Lord Mazdamundi into that part of the battlefield. He's got almost, I think, 11,000 HP whenever he's at max health. And I'm going to be taking advantage of that because I'm going to be spamming out as much Apotheosis and heals on Mazdamundi as I can to keep him topped off. So the good thing about the Shield of the Old Ones is that it also provides leadership. So these units here that are currently wavering would 100% be running if it wasn't for that shield going off. And Luther Harkin here has shot off almost all of his ammunition, and he only does poison damage, not magic, so he's not going to be very effective versus Thorny Ironbrow. But he can do some pretty good AoE damage on the Terrorgeist. But he's getting triple teamed here. He's got Belegar, Manfred, they're all getting the Rune of Oath and Steel and the Rune of Negation. So he's not going to be able to do a lot of damage, and if Manfred keeps summoning more and more zombies here to tie him down, he won't be able to get out. Let's see how he's able to deal with this. You know, meanwhile, of course, Mazdamundi up to 516 kills. But he needs to get out of there, because this is an incredibly dangerous fight. And it looks like the Terrorgeist, with a lot of rapid clicking, I'm sure, he's able to push past the zombies who just don't have the mass to keep a Terrorgeist tied down. But had he been able to kill Luther Harkin there, that might have been GG for sure. Cold-blooded going off on my skink cohorts to keep them fighting. They were starting to waver. And I feel like if I could just finish off this backline fight here, I can join this blob. I don't have any banishments or ruinations of cities left, so what you see is kind of what you get. All I have is Apotheosis, and I think I have a few more of the heals from the Bastiladon. But that's pretty much it. I just have my continuously routing and returning skinks to kind of help me out. And we can watch these dudes fight. Trying to keep an eye on the background. Go into K mode so we don't have to see the banners. And yeah, they're routing now, being chased by these skeletons. But Shield of the Old One is going to protect me. And I was constantly aware this battle of the threat that was posed by Belegar and the Runesmith. And I was trying to stay away from them as often as I could. See Manfred fighting Luther. Pretty cool vampire on vampire battle. And where Luther can't make use of magic, part of his lore, Manfred is kind of the exact opposite. He has almost an abundance of magic. He's one of the most powerful magic users in the game. And yeah, they're going to try and chase him down, but on his Terrorgite, he's just too fast, and his mass is too great. But yeah, let's pop up into overview again. And the dwarves are just chasing him around. They're just too slow, but they're incredibly deadly. And a Runesmith here, buffing the defensive stats of all of these zombies, is making it incredibly hard for us to wade through them. Lord Mazdamundi, you're going to get pretty damn close to 600 kills this battle for sure. And you can see, even on the back of Zlak, he still does attacks. Really cool model. He like raises his wand and blasts people. See if we can get him to do it. Zlak has a big giant golden mace for a tail. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, Luther's doing the right thing. He just keeps coming in and leaving. The Hammer of Karagdraz is being used by Triari to great effect. As soon as he comes in with that charge, he pops that ability, and all of a sudden, just like that, he's so neutered in his melee attack, he's down to 0 melee attack. He can't come in. He has to leave the fight, which leaves me in an awful 1v3. And the only protection I have currently is the Queen Bess crew, which has gotten like maybe 60 kills or so since the last time we checked on them. That's amazing. Just the crew fighting. And my own heals, and you'll see here I'm getting Shield of the Old Ones plus the Revivification Crystal. I'm finally reaching my healing cap. You can see that line in my health bar showing where I cannot heal beyond. But I still have tons of Winds of Magic because the only thing I'm casting is Apotheosis. And you can watch my HP go up even as I'm fighting all of these units who counter me pretty heavily. Skeleton Spearmen have surrounded me, and I've got one dwarf hero of the people on either side. Yeah, we're just going to knock him over. But Rally, Mighty Oathstone, Rune of Negation, all those defensive buffs making them incredibly difficult to take out. Not even to mention the 75%, I believe is what it is, physical resistance. It's so hard to click on these guys. I really wish CA would change that. I should be able to click on a unit and show you what they do in the unit card. Instead, I have to do this weird thing where I hover them in the corner and try and hope that I can get their unit card to stay. So it is 75%. Manfred here is dueling Luther Harkin. A duel he will not win on horseback. If he were on his Black Dragon, or his Zombie Dragon rather, he would have a really good chance of winning because Manfred is not a pushover in melee. It's just, you know, the poison debuffs and the huge armor-piercing values of a Terrorgeist makes it too much. On the back of a horse, he has almost no armor-piercing. And I'm going to be attempting to chase him down and perhaps keep him out of this battle. The Bastiladon has a decent amount of armor-piercing, causes terror, which isn't really relevant here against the vampires, of course, but a very cheap armor-piercing, heavily armored platform. He can take a lot of punishment from a hero or a lord like Manfred who just doesn't have great armor-piercing. And we're managing to bully Belegar here. Mazdamundi's not the best duelist, but he does have armor piercing on top of Zlak. And wow, he just like tail whacked him. That's awesome. And if you can get him onto the right target and he doesn't miss that often, that was 400 damage just like that, and Belegar is going to want to run. We still have to break Thorny, and our units were kind of crumbling because he does cause terror. Another nice side effect. If you need terror on a dwarven line, bring an ethereal hero unit. He was going to rout my skink cohorts until I applied cold-blooded plus the Shield of the Old Ones, and that managed to keep us in the battle for a little while. And just like that, Luther Harkin goes up in the air, helps us to pin Manfred in place, and they're going to beat him down no problem. And we can fast forward here because I think you all know what's going to happen next. Manfred goes down. We're going to bring all of our assets over here because we have to get past the 75% physical resistance plus increased armor. Now he's got 30 armor. He's got Root of Negation to give him another 22% ward save, which makes him nearly invulnerable, honestly, unless he's taking magic damage. But luckily, Mazdamundi's got what we need. He's got the armor piercing, and our opponents are going to bow out. Super fun game. Honestly, a lot closer than I thought it would be. I knew Mazdamundi would get great value once I saw this army. It's just very easily to overwhelm. If my skinks and things had run and not been able to come back, we would have had an unsupported Mazdamundi and Bastillodon, and I would not have been able to get the amount of value that I did. And very easily that type of situation could have happened if Triari had been able to, keep these two units on top of Mazdamundi, really punish him. I might have had to run him away from the fight. I might not have been able to support my infantry, and everything could have snowballed downhill from there. And the Skyhammer was a really fun pick. It could have done a lot of damage. It really did. I think it got about 50 kills. But had it been kept maybe further in reserve, it would have done better. But like I said, he was counting on trying to shut down Queen Bess. So he got 50 kills, and had he been able to shut down Queen Bess with those bombs, which I'm still not convinced it can't do, it may be able to destroy the model with the bombs. But he would have prevented 405 kills from our team. And, I mean, that's worth it. Get 50 kills on the Skyhammer, prevent us from getting 405 kills, and that would have been amazing. And then if he'd have been able to do all that and keep the Skyhammer alive, it would have generated massive value either kiting Luther Harkin or just sitting on the side of the battle and shooting at, a large target like my Bastillodon or Lord Mazdamundi, because the armor piercing on the Skyhammer's missiles is pretty insane. But yeah, great battles from everyone. Great play. I could tell everyone in here was a really experienced Total War Warhammer 2 player. And we tried to make it a 3v3. It was hard to fill up the queue. But I've got another one of these lined up, so look forward to that. And it was a super fun battle as well. It was a bit of a Boris Todbringer, Kazrak. A little bit of spoilers there. But it was a pretty sweet battle, and I can't wait to show it to you. And in new tradition, I want to tell you guys a knock-knock joke. So here we go. Knock knock. Who's there? Yeah. Yeah, who? Wow, I'm excited to see you too. Okay. That one's not so much funny. That one almost doesn't make sense. That's one of those knock knock jokes that's only funny if you're a little kid. Anyway, guys, take it easy. Once again, my name is Brett. My channel is Good Talk Gaming. And as always, y'all, I will see you in the next one. Take care.